Before I begin, let's make this a little bit interactive. Who here has a smartphone? That's right, it's 2018, everybody has a smartphone. Even this chap over here is on it. Hello. So, what I'd like everyone to do is, if you can get your smartphones out, and if you can open up your browser window and go to menti.com, it will then ask you for a code, and the code is 652517. Yeah. Is that working for everybody or not? Okay, I think I'm about to have a bit of user error failure here because I've realised I've just dropped my laptop off at the stand and it's actually got the present mode on it, so I don't think we're going to be able to do the presentation. So sorry for mismanaging everybody's expectations for the survey bit. All this would have done is just ask 4 questions. If we still have time at the end, I'll just message my colleague and ask her to hit present for me and we can get this show on the road. But in the meantime, thank you for all being willing to participate. Let me briefly touch on who Sana are and why I'm here today. The reason our business began was based on a need. The need was, we had a customer, or a prospect at the time, a customer that came to us and said, we have a challenge. We want what's held in our central business system, which at the time was an enterprise resource planning software or solution. We want what's in there to be shown online. So our customers can see what stock we have, what product assortments we have. They can see and they can manage their invoices online. And this was back in 2008. This was just over 10 years ago. And how we began was from that need. We found a way of doing this, and we were able to build a business, and we were able to talk to delegates like here today about how we can make businesses work in a more efficient and a more effective manner. And specifically in the healthcare industry and the healthcare sector, we notice more and more, and with some of the customers we already support, that there are challenges that businesses have, and we're here to hopefully help unlock some of those challenges by utilising technology or the solutions that you currently have in play. We now, I mentioned 10 years ago we were born, we now have 10 offices worldwide. We've got 360 plus e-commerce specialists, and that's growing every single week, every single month. We've got 4 development centres that work on our product, our proposition, and the integrations with various ERP platforms. We've got around 1,400 websites which are live, which are powered by Sana, and we're experiencing real growth over the last few years. So much so it's now 40% year-on-year growth. And Sana was all built from a customer need. Today I want to talk to you about a picture of the future, so where we see e-commerce, where we see communications going, what the differences are between EDI and e-commerce, and also we want to talk about digital transformation that we're seeing within the healthcare sector and some of the trends that we've seen from our annual benchmarking report. So, just a little bit around us. We have certified solutions for Microsoft and SAP. More recently, obviously these weren't from day one. Over time these have taken time to build. But last year we were awarded ISV of the Year, which from Microsoft, which basically means Independent Software Vendor of the Year for Western Europe. So it's a very well regarded and a highly valued prize from Microsoft. Microsoft recognise us because we add value to their ERP solutions, the products and the licenses that they sell, and what we're helping their customers and our customers do is helping them realise their full potential online. And by tying in with these best-of-breed ERP solutions, we realise it's important to generate and leverage the data that they hold and pushing that out securely online to their customers so customers can respond and react to it, but it's not the only thing. It's not just about the great technology you have, it's also about focusing on the need of your customers. It's about making sure that you're delivering on what your customers require. If you can't, you may not be as successful. To quote a few examples over recent years, Netflix didn't kill Blockbuster They did it to themselves with exorbitant late fees and refusal of changing their business model until it was too late. Uber didn't kill the taxi business. They did it to themselves with a limited number of taxis and fare control. Obviously that's changing nowadays. But another poignant example is Kodak didn't kill themselves. They invented the digital camera, but they decided to shelve it rather than make it a commercial success. Many people often sell a solution that they don't necessarily believe in, or they work for an organisation that's not customer focused, not focused on the needs of what their customers require. And what we want to do is we want to help change that. We want to help you help change that from within your businesses if you have businesses that are stuck in that rut. And we recognise that by doing it together, it's a partnership. It is more than just the technology we're providing. It's the added value service that we're providing to the end customer. So, what we've noticed in terms of customers coming to you is a lot of orders are being placed, not via our website. I know there's quite a bit of text there, but if you look at the graphic at the bottom, UK, by the way, is highlighted in red. You'll see that a number of orders are going through EDI. Now, EDI is an interface or a way of computer to computer, machine to machine, communicating to one another to order, reorder, not order certain products and items. So it's computers to computers interacting with one another. For some businesses, they may not necessarily have the investment, the technology, the expertise to support that, and sometimes they may not necessarily have the finance to back it. And this is where we're seeing a lot more people requiring a need for an e-commerce solution, something that can cater for that, where a customer can place the order and it can be automatically fulfilled within the central system that the other customer has, or the other business has. We're also noticing that a lot of customers are still placing orders via telephone, via email, via fax. I mean, you can see there, 40% of customers in the UK place orders, B2B customers place orders via email. That's a huge, huge amount. And so what we want to do, and what our customers want to do, is they want to get smarter. They realise that if someone submits an order via an email, someone else at the other end of that email has to fulfill that order. That means someone has to physically key that information into a system, check they've got the stock, make sure the information's been put in correctly. If it's not, call up the customer or email back the customer if they don't pick up. And it becomes a very long, protracted process. A bit like this presentation. I'm kidding. And the challenge that we're going to have over time is, as more and more of these orders come through email and customers aren't looking at more cost-effective solutions, it creates a resource bottleneck within that customer that has to fulfill those orders, because it's taking a lot of time, it's taking a lot of manpower or womanpower or departmental power to get the job done, and as a result it's increasing the cost of sale. So all of a sudden the prices go up, and all of a sudden that customer becomes non-competitive, and as a result they could potentially go out of business. So what we want to do is, and what businesses want to do, is reduce the cost of sale. They want to reduce the amount of time and money it takes to get an order into the system and to get it fulfilled. And by doing that, provided added value for that customer, because ultimately, if the customer can place the order, see the stock levels in real time, see what the price is, because the prices will be cheaper, because it's less resource to pay for, then ultimately it means that they're going to get a quicker resolution and hopefully a quicker dispatch on the order. Moreover, we're getting asked more and more about, actually, customers want to self-service online. The average business isn't 9 to 5 anymore. It can be very much 24/7. How many times have you replied to an email at 5 o'clock in the morning or 11 o'clock at night? You know, you're not supposed to be working, but you're working. It's the same with your customers and your customers' customers. They're also going to be working at these sporadic hours. If you're not open, you're not opening yourselves to business, and hence for the emails increasing. So if you have an online portal that can do this for you, it can hopefully deliver more results. So, let's talk about EDI and e-commerce. So it's important for us to understand that both EDI and e-commerce can work seamlessly together. They're not enemies of one another. You don't need one without the other. You should have both, because then you're providing more variety to your customers as a whole. They all have their own distinctive features as well. So machine to machine, computing and processing and order taking and order management is effective, but obviously there's no human error. There's no human error, no human element that's put in that role. It's also quite expensive to do that, because you have to develop it, maintain it, support it. However, you will have a mid-market of your customers, usually a larger part of your customers, that will need to transact with you on a sporadic, on an ad hoc basis without necessarily needing that visibility. And having an integrated solution that talks to your other technologies is what's absolutely key. The other point to mention is, even if most of your customers don't adapt to their technology, they know it's there. They know it's another communication channel for them to use at a later date. And as a result, it's something that you're future-proofing your business with. The only final point is, and as you can see at the bottom, is it's a question that we want to ask you is, how much time do you think your sales or your customer services team spend on processing orders manually? It may well be more than you think. Maybe ask it as a question to your business to see if that's actually something you can look to build an efficiency around. So what we see in terms of figures, 25% of orders on average across the base, and this is across all industry by the way, not just healthcare, is placed via EDI. That means 75% of orders are coming through other channels. That's a huge cost if it's email, if it's face-to-face, if it's fax, if it's telephone, if it's not going online. A lot of customers also say to us, actually, or before they're customers, they say to us, our solutions are too complex, we can't sell them online, there's too many configuration options, there's too many variables. Well, that's actually not quite true, because if you hold that data in your ERP system, in your centralized databases, actually, if you can hold it there, we can push it out online and we can make it easy to configure. The other side of things, it means that 25% of your customers are limited to placing order via the traditional methods. Hang on, I've just gone wrong there. So, let's flip those statistics the other way around. 75% orders, on the whole, are placed via EDI. 25% are still not. That still takes up a massive amount of time. As a result, if you're taking orders via offline channels, via email, via fax, via telephone, and not doing it via an e-commerce site, then it's going to eat into the cost of sale. And of course, it's going to take more time to fulfill. So, in terms of what our philosophy is and how we work at a graphical level, this is probably the best way to understand it. Most traditional e-commerce systems do this. This is complex, this is costly, this takes a lot of time to maintain. It also means you need physical resource for someone to make the website look pretty, someone to manage the search engine optimization, someone to look after the content, or maybe the same person to do all of that. They have a very busy time on their hands without even touching the data. What we do is we build our platform inside the ERP or on top of the ERP, and we take all the information, all the business logic, all the data, and we push it out securely online. With our new SaaS offering as well, it means every single time you update your platform, you've always got the latest and greatest features. It also means if you update your ERP, we have a solution that can be built and designed around you. So you're not going through additional costs to build or to re-platform or to re-implement a solution that you've already paid for over and over again. As a result, Sana over time becomes the most cost-effective choice. It also means, as companies are moving away, if they have been using e-commerce before and they're struggling with their first generation or second generation e-commerce web store, going to a leaner system, one which can actually minimize the amount of resource, it does become more cost effective in terms of person power or resource within your business, because of course their time is spent doing less online and more in terms of their proactive roles. But that's not all. Because of the unique integration, our e-commerce solution has a number of other advantages. It allows you to give customers specific prices. So if each individual customer has their own pricing rule, their own pricing matrices within the ERP system, which is where you typically store that information, that can also be relayed online. It's the same about customer-specific assortments. So every product catalog could be unique to each customer. What customer A purchases is very different to what customer B purchases. So you can build more variety, you can build more scope within the solution, so you can do more for your customer and you can feed them information that's relevant and pertinent to them. It also means that the stock is also real time, so as purchases are being made, stock is being drawn down, so customers have an accurate review of what products you can actually fulfill on. I don't know how many people in this room historically have sold a product they actually can't deliver because they don't have physical stock, or it's going to take 3 months or 3 weeks longer to actually get the order and it actually ruins the sale. and it stops that customer from purchasing from you again because they can't trust the advice that you've originally given. It erodes their confidence. So having that real-time stock view is absolutely critical. The other side of things is also faceted searches. Lots of customers want to be able to search and filter based on size, weight, based on volume, based on processing power, whatever it may well be, based on dimensions, based on the amount of water or fluid it can hold. And as a result, they want to be able to query that information in a self-service basis. So a web store can do that. If you've got the information in your ERP system, then you can do that. If not, why not? And maybe you should have it as well, because if you get asked those questions, you can push that forward. Also, things like cross-sell and upsell. Increasing average order value is absolutely critical within online businesses. And if you present other options that the customer can purchase, you may actually increase the amount of complementary items that you've got going on there as well. And of course, also custom orders as well. I mentioned earlier that lots of customers come to us, or prospects come to us and say, we can't sell our products online, they're too complex. Well, actually, have you tried? And if you haven't tried, how's it currently stored in your existing systems? How are you configuring those products? Because if you can configure them in an offline portal or in a database somewhere, then you can configure them online. It's just a little bit of trying to find out how's best to make that work online. You can also do things like partial prepay as well. So if you've got customers that don't necessarily pay on time and you want to make sure you get some of that money up front, then you can do prepay options. And again, it can be customer specific. So as a customer logs in, if they don't necessarily pay on time, you can ask for all that money up front or part of that money up front. It's entirely up to you. By giving you that flexibility, it empowers you as a business to be able to do more and spend that time more effectively, being proactive than reactive. So here's a few examples. So Fargeron, as we probably all know, they're a pharmaceutical company. They supply a number of different services and products to their customers. One thing that we've noticed is they needed Sana, and they needed Sana to go into new markets. Why? Because they wanted to make sure they were providing the right information, and they wanted to do it in a low-cost format. Rather than actually having physical people and offices on the ground, they wanted to use an online portal to actually test the market and see if it worked. And as a result, they've now gone into 14 different countries to actually support their customers in those countries, and they've actually grown, and they've grown very cost effectively and very successfully by implementing web portals in those new territories. And as a result, they're able to put the right content, the right products in the right countries to serve and to fulfill the needs of those customers. You can download a case study on our website. We've got lots of detail on that. And if you wanted to have an actual chat with a customer, then of course we can always organise that for you. Second, basic dental. So this is a dentistry website, or a website for dentists. And this is a great way of actually differentiating yourself in the market. Nobody at the time actually competed with Basic in this way, and they were able to provide added value to their customers through a self-service portal, through a way of doing account management online, and being a 24/7 business. Zorg Service is another one. So it's not just healthcare; it's also the likes of janitorial supplies that they distribute. And they wanted to be 24/7 for their customers. They wanted to be able to change pricing on the fly. So rather than having outdated pricing on the website, they wanted that to be real time. And they were able to implement that with Sana. And then finally, as I've already mentioned, Sana's gone SaaS. So we now offer software as a service. We're in the cloud. And if you want the latest and greatest features, going down the SaaS model actually helps you. We have a number of different design packs, all with different looks and feels. They're not all necessarily B2C. They can be very much B2B. And we also, now that we've gone SaaS, we've been able to build a bigger ecosystem around our solution. So if you need a website that ties into marketing automation technologies, digital marketing platforms, third-party payment providers, shipping providers, even the likes of PIM systems, so product information management systems, then you can have this. And we tie in with best-of-breed solutions because we realise this is what our customers also require. So I'm not going to go to that because we don't have time. I've got a 30-second warning now. But thank you very much for your time. If you do need any information, we are on a stand right by the door, or you can get in touch on those details below.